All right, fall camp is raging on, man. It's we're about to get after it here. It's the Believe in Georgia Dogs podcast on the Believe Network. What up, what up, what up, what up? Happy Thursday night. It's the Believe in Georgia Dogs podcast on the Believe Network. What is up, everybody? Joining me, he's back, fellas. He's back. He's been involved in camp. We've got some real meaningful football for you guys. It's my man, Israel Troop. What's up, dude?
What's up, brother? Good to be back for a little bit. I know I've been going for a little while, but you know how it is around this time of the year. It's football season.
Okay.
It is football season. It's finally here. We've got a big game tomorrow night, game of the week. So a big rivalry game tomorrow night, so I'm excited about it.
Heck yeah, man. That's you guys are ready, man. I can feel it, man. You guys had a good camp. You guys are ready to roll, man. I'm excited for you. We got some real meaningful football. It's not NFL, it's not college, but it is GHSA high school football week 1. TSSAA doesn't start till next week, so there won't be any meaningful high school football up here in Tennessee until next week. And then next week we've got real college football. So it's here.
Fast.
It's here. It's right there in front of you. So, man, we're poised for a playoff run, man. This is an exciting year. But first of all, we are presented by BetOnline.ag. BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for everything football. From preseason NFL to college kickoff, BetOnline has every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads while the games are being played. Do you think you know your stuff? Well, get in on our winner-take-all $300,000 NFL Survivor pool for the upcoming season. That sounds fun. When the game's over, head over to our online casino and get in on a game of blackjack or poker, or just unwind with one of our over 150 slots games. So head to the website today and use promo code BELIEVE to get in on the action. It's spelled right here on the screen. BetOnline, the game starts here. So Kirby was in his press conference. I think it was yesterday.
Kirby was in his bag tonight. Now he was in prime Kirby form.
Yeah, prime, cranky, edgy Kirby form, man. He just kind of having a little fun being sarcastic with the media. I love it, man. But are there, like, he said there's depth concerns, but I don't know that I buy that.
I don't think there's more so depth concerns. I think there's more so experience. You know what I mean? I don't think there's. I think that we have plenty of players, obviously. You know what I mean? But I think the experience of those players is concerning, and that's with any football team. You know, it's the same thing for whether you're in Pop Warner all the way up to the NFL. You know what I mean? You have those concerns about guys who you haven't played yet, who haven't played significant minutes in a football game, especially in the SEC, in the hardest conference in the United States. So, I mean, you know, I completely understand that. And like I said, I don't think it's a depth thing. You know, everybody's saying, oh, we ain't got enough players. No, I don't think that's it. I think it's more of an experience thing that he's talking about.
I mean, I think you hit the nail right on the head. I mean, you're a couple injuries away from calling in somebody that hasn't really played much or any college football, so to speak. So I think, you know, but part of what Georgia does really well, Israel, is they develop that depth. I mean, you have the practices are pretty rough and they're pretty intense, pretty competitive. Like I think you're going to get your competitive reps in, and there's not going to be any problems developing any of that depth as you go. The scout team is going to get some really, really good work in there. And it's just, there's going to be guys that emerge throughout the course of the season with injuries and things like that you're going to be like, where did he come from? And then you're just going to realize that Kirby's development machine is just working.
Absolutely. And there's a standard at Georgia too. You know what I mean? And, you know, they haven't reached that standard yet. You know what I mean? And like I said, it's early camp, early fall. You know, camp never goes, you know, perfect. You know what I mean? And it'll never go perfect because they're gonna create chaos every day. And you got new guys in new positions. Um, you know, just a bunch of new faces just running around. You know, just trying to play football. You know, which is great, is what you want. But now you get to the technical part of everything. With school coming in, it's a little bit more organized and things like that. You kind of get into game mode now. I think school started today, I believe. So you kind of get into game mode, game week type situations to where right now we can see our 1 and 2 spots on the depth chart. You know what I mean? This is where you start to decide, all right, who are those guys we can depend on Saturday, who's going to be the scout team and things like that. So, you know, before anybody panics, you know, Kirby's not at all. You know, he put on the show for the media the other day, but at the end of the day, you know, there's a standard that, you know, he expects his players to uphold, and they haven't reached that standard yet, and they got time to figure that out before with the big matchup against Clemson.
Yeah, I mean, you're just installing stuff, trying different things out, trying different combinations along the offensive line, seeing who's going to be, you know, seeing who works out at center, seeing, you know, just testing out protections. I think that, you know, Coach Schumann is throwing some stuff at the offense just to kind of see how they handle it. You know, things like that are typical of camp. And, you know, I think people are quick to say, oh, well, the defense won today. Well, oh God, like Mike Bobo, fire him now. And, you know, Carson Beck, maybe, you know,
Defense always wins during fall camp. They tend to always win until about, let's see, probably about next week is when, you know, the offense start clicking. You know, you start, because I mean, you know, you see those guys every day. You know, you're going against them every day. They kind of know what you're doing. You know what I mean? So the defense is supposed to win. You know, if your defense isn't winning, that's when you have a problem. You know,
Yeah.
so I think it's a good problem to have. I think it's, you know, if we're going against that defense every day, I think we'll be fine, you know, with our schedule and every team that we play. So, I mean, it's, you know, it's one of those deals to where if you're an outsider looking in, you're like, oh my God, Georgia has all these problems. But like you and I look at it like, I mean, it's part of the process. It's part of fall camp. It's part of everything leading up to that first game. You know, it's part of finding guys you can trust on the field and guys that you can rely on, you know, Saturday. Because I mean, at the end of the day, this business is about winning football games. At the end of the day, Georgia has unfinished business. So, you know, it's time to get to it.
And do you think Kirby's somebody, speaking of the whole practice thing, and yeah, you're exactly right, man, it's time to get to freaking work. But do you think, and I could see him doing this, but I don't know for sure because I'm obviously not on the staff there. I don't see the practices. But do you think it's possible that Mike Bobo, in an effort to give his guys the most adversity he can possibly drum up, do you think he gives Schumann the script and say, hey, script up a defense, here's the plays in advance, I want you to give me the worst possible look that you can give me so that I can put this on film and show the guys, okay, this is how you pick this up, this is how you know, this is how we, you know, this is who we got, this is our progression in pass pro, or if it's a run, if it's versus a run, it's like, okay, this is how we're going to block this front up if we get this in a game. Like, because Georgia's got to be prepared for just about anything that teams are going to throw at them, because Georgia's so explosive offensively. Their teams are going to throw things at them that, you know, it's going to be crazy. So do you think that happens though?
There's nothing worse than being a coordinator, and you know this just as well as I do, is when you can do nothing. For I think it was about a good 3 weeks, we couldn't even throw a screen against our defense. And I thought up and down that our defense coordinator knew every time we were going to run it. I mean, we would come out of new formation, we would use motion. I'm just like, how does he know this? You know, and that's how practice is supposed to be. You know, it's supposed to be organized chaos. You know, it's one of those things where we get to see, is there any panic? You know, how does the quarterback perform, you know, under pressure? How does he, you know, perform when adversity hits? How does the team perform when adversity hits? You know what I mean? So it's one of those things to where at camp you get to see these things, you know, live. You know, to where in a game it doesn't even phase them. You know, go back to South Carolina game. You know, South Carolina had us pegged. You know, and we couldn't do anything the first half. We come out the second half and we're explosive. You know, we're moving the ball and end up in that football game. So it's times like this during camp is where you do things like that, to where when we're playing a team like South Carolina, you know, there was no blinking. You know, it was like, hey, we're going to halftime, we adjust and come out in the second half and play Georgia football.
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of where, you know, you've got to kind of know you've got to kind of know how preseason progressions work. I mean, you got to know like where you are in the preseason cycle of, hey, okay, we're installing stuff, we're doing this stuff on purpose, like we're letting things happen. So I just you don't press the panic button and it's all good. So, but I'm really excited about the run game. I'm really excited about what we have at tight end. I mean, our offensive line is going to be great. And this is going to be a lot of fun to watch. But let's say Carson Beck stubs his toe. I'm trying to think of like the least catastrophic injury here. But let's say he stubs his toe. Who's in? Is it Rashada or is it Gunner?
I think it's a good battle. I think Gunner has the upper hand just from being in the offense. As long as he's been, I think he can manage it, But I think Rashada has the most athletic ability, more like Brock, back there as far as the runner. Not Brock, but Gunner's a good runner too. But at the same time, it brings a different dynamic to the offense when you got a guy back there who has proven that he can run the football, who has played, on Saturdays, who have played in these big games and things like that. So when you're playing in front of 93, 95,000 people, it could be shell shock. I remember my first game. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things to where who do you trust to go out there? And I think those two are battling, for that trust. Brock had to earn that trust, with Coach Bobo. So it's one of those things to where who gives us the best chance to win. And right now, I think Gunner has the upper hand because he knows the offense. But at the same time, do we want more of an athlete back there is what we're looking for. You know what I mean? Not saying that Gunner's not, because I've seen him run. He's a tough kid, but Rashada's played on Saturday. And that's one thing that Gunner has not done. He has not played on Saturday. He's not been in that fire just yet. And it's hard to emulate that, at practice. And that's the good thing about the portal. You do get a quarterback. You get one that's played in big time games. So I think that he does have the upper hand in that. But, right now I think it's 50-50. One, Rashada has the experience. He's been, in those games on Saturday, but Gunner knows the offense. So just who goes out there and performs, whenever they have practice, think the next scrimmage is Saturday. Who does the best during that time. And we'll see, that first week preparing for Clemson.
Yeah, no doubt. And so I think ultimately it'll be Rashada because of the experience. I mean, that experience goes a long way, and you can't coach that. And unfortunately for Gunner, who I've been rooting for him for quite some time, unfortunately for him, Rashada's just got the experience. He's got the tools. He's just got it. So, but getting ready for Clemson, when you start putting in stuff for Clemson, I mean, I think you have to, obviously pick that and make sure you get the reps distributed evenly. But have you seen anything on Clemson? Have you, do we know exactly what they're bringing?
I just saw today that they've got 3 players out for the season. I think it came across my ticker today because they have to report the injury report now.
That's
so I know they got 3 players that are done for the season. I didn't really see the names on it yet because I don't really care about Clemson because that's a dub in the dome anyway. But it's just one of those things to where I think Kirby said it best in his press conference. We're worried about us. What are we doing? To make sure that we're ready. The opponent's the opponent. We'll prepare for them when we get there. But as long as we're doing what we're supposed to do, we'll be fine no matter who we play against.
Yeah, exactly. Just take care of business, man. That's all. Defensively, man, this is going to be a big year for the linebackers, especially. CJ Allen and Raylen Wilson, I think, are the two that really stand out to me. And then Mykell Williams, obviously, he's going to be kind of a do-it-all type guy. But, I think this is going to be a big year for the defensive front too. Like, how do we – our defensive line, dude, it's one of those – it's a really good group. It's a really athletic group, and I think they're going to rotate a lot. But it's gonna be very, very important for them to kind of hold their own a little bit. And it's kind of like a no-name group, and we don't have any superstars just yet. Now, someone might emerge, in that first game where you're just going, oh, and I think it could be, Stack.
I think it's going to be Stack too. He's the vet, you would say, coming back. You know, and it's okay to have not a household name, you know, in the defense because you know they're going to play lights out anyway. You know, and this is one of those things to where can they, you know, squeeze gaps? Can they create, you know, double teams to free up linebackers, things like that? Can they do their job pretty much? You know, Coach Scott is a really, really good defensive line coach. He's been phenomenal since he's gotten there. And you just go back to we don't have the Jordan Davises and those anymore, you know, but he's done, you know, phenomenal things with that defensive line. So just one of those, I don't worry about those guys. You know, the only thing that I worry about, you know, is them getting injured. But I think our defensive scheme, you know, takes care of that. You know, I think that the way they practice, you know, the drills and things that they do, prepare them to take those beatings every day. And they're going against a phenomenal offensive line every day. So, you know, you won't find a better offensive line in Georgia right now. You know, we're a little bit inexperienced, yes. You know, we do have to find a new center, but that line is just as strong as ever. You know, we just gotta find some guys that can go out there and play. Can they gel together? You got a defensive line that's going against those guys every day. I mean, it's one of those things to where, all right, whoever lines up in front of us, Saturday's in trouble.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, you just got to be thinking, okay, here's a big play here, and just get ready to. I mean, teams. I know that when they're scheming, they haven't even made it to the secondary yet, and they're just like, oh crap, we got to figure out how to block these guys. Mykell Williams is going to give us nightmares coming off the edge. We have to deal with C.J. Allen, who is being compared to, fairly or unfairly, being compared to one Roquan Smith. I think that's an accurate description. I hope he has the same impact that Roquan had, but
those are huge shoes to fill. And if you're being compared to that guy, I mean, he must be doing something right.
Yeah, I mean, that's huge shoes to fill. A really good compliment, but like style of play, like just kind of the way they kind of carry themselves, it really does make sense, that comparison. Like I don't think he plays like anybody else. I mean, it's obvious that he's watched a lot of Roquan Smith.
Mm-hmm. I also think that this defense will be a lot more physical than we have been, you know, last year. You know, for the simple fact is we have a lot of no-name guys that's playing on defense. You know, you have Williams, of course, but at the same time, I mean, who else just jumps off the page to you? You know, I think with their physical style of play, you know, secondary guys coming up with, you know, we haven't had a hard hitter since Lewis Seen, you know what I mean? So who's going to be that guy? And if you watch the spring game, I mean, those safeties are flying down, knocking hell out of people. So, you know, it's one of those deals to where, all right, you're about to learn who I am. You might not know who I am now, but you're about to learn who I am by the way that I play. And we're going to see it real soon. You know, we're playing against a really good team. And the schedule is not for the weak by any means. So you have to bring your lunch bill every day. So I think the physicality of this team is going to change just because we don't have any of those no-name guys. You don't really know, you know, who's going to be where and who's going to be here and there. You know, so they got to come out with a chip on the shoulder every day.
Yeah, no doubt. And you can't. I mean, you've got your three biggest games are on the road. I mean, there's people talking about Georgia staring, you know, 9-3 in the face too. Like that's a distinct possibility. Like they're saying, okay, Bama's a toss up. You know, could go either way. Ole Miss and Texas. And so you're thinking, oh crap. But then on the other side of the coin, everybody's like, okay, well, Georgia's going to beat Alabama in the SEC championship. Like that's kind of what they're predicting. So I don't know, man. You just gotta, you know. Again, I hope we're doing a lot of crowd work in camp. I hope we're doing a lot of like road game type stuff to kind of get these guys ready for those. I mean, you know, a lot of these guys do have that atmosphere training because, you know, they played at Tennessee. They played at, you know, some of these other venues, some of these other hostile venues. So it's, you know, no different. But no one's played at Texas. And that is a different building.
Yes. And you know, it goes back to, you know, Kirby, you know, and you know, if you watch, like I said, you go back to the press conference, he looks and sounds a lot like Nick Saban. You know, it's just that never satisfied type deal. And you know, it's one of those things where, all right, we had a good practice, but I ain't gonna let everybody else know it. You know what I mean? So his job is to create chaos. You know, like I said, a couple years ago, went to spring practice, and that's what he did. He created mass chaos, every day just to see how his players respond. You know what I mean? And we do that, at Thomasville as well. It may be a good play. We're hollering and screaming just because, we want the kids to, feel that pressure just enough at practice to where if it happens in the game, it doesn't even phase them. So we can do that every day. I think it will be fine.
Yeah, I mean, even in the film room, probably you're probably watching a play and rewinding it 20 times, and it's a touchdown play, and you're ripping the right tackle because,
yes,
almost gave up a sack, that type of thing. Like it's never being satisfied because there is that standard that you're always chasing. But at the same time, I think, and you know this just as well as I do, and I do it where, I mean, as much as I hammer down, I'll always end the rant with, "Hey, but we scored a touchdown." Hell
absolutely.
Yeah. And
there's a lot of stuff that can go wrong on a play, and you're going to hear it, and I'm going to tell you, good job, you scored.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So there's always something that can be coached. There's always something that can be improved every single play. I think that's what Kirby's getting to. He's like, all right, we're not going to be satisfied. There's always work to do. You got to keep chopping. You know what I mean? Because we saw last year we got complacent. We got beaten in the SEC championship game.
Yeah.
We come out against Florida State. You can say what you want to. They were missing, players, blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, somebody had to take that whooping. You know what I mean? And Florida State just happened to be the next one on the list.
It didn't matter.
You showed that you can't get complacent.
Exactly. And that Georgia team, not complacent, ran up 63 points on Florida State. People are like, oh, they're missing a bunch of people. Well, guess what? They sign top 8 classes every single year. They have.
You lined up to play this game just like we did. You recruit just like we did. You know what I mean? It's not my fault.
You have the same caliber players.
A lot of your guys decided not to play. I mean, Kamari last year was a first-round pick. He decides to play.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean,
that's just whatever.
Javon Miller, second-round pick, he decides to play. Ladd McConkey decides to play. You know what I mean? So it's just one. I'm pretty sure if Brock Bowers was not beat up during that time, he would have played.
Yeah.
So
he would have. I guarantee he would have. I know he would have.
It's one of those things to where, hey, you put your pants on one leg at a time like I do. So.
Mm-hmm. Your helmet just happens to be gold, mine's red. So that's that's the only difference. And they have the same caliber players. They're a P4 school too. They recruit, so they you took the field, and all those players, maybe that game would have not been 63-3. It could have been, I don't know, 35-10. I mean, still, I think Georgia was going to whip their ass no matter what.
Oh, yeah, they still would take that L. You know what I mean? Because, it's one of those deals to where Georgia knew it. And all of us knew it. We got a little bit complacent, and we had a point to prove. And I think that's what Kirby's trying to avoid this year, is getting to that point to where, hey, man, we're pretty freaking good. You know what I mean? We can run the table. Absolutely not. Nope, there's something to get better every single day. And I think, like I said, I always go back to that press conference. I heard a reporter asking, their position of concern. He said, yes. Are you going to tell us no? You know what I mean? So,
yeah. Do you have depth concerns? Yes.
It's one of those where it's like, all right, well, he's not satisfied, so players can't be satisfied.
Yeah.
He will never be satisfied, so we've always got to play with an edge.
Yeah, exactly. And so, and as soon as you lose that edge, somebody's going to jump up and get you. And that's, I mean, that is the epitome of the SEC. As soon as you let your guard down and you lose it right there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a fleeting thing. It's you have to keep your guard up no matter what, no matter who you're playing. You could be playing Vandy or you could be playing Bama. You got to keep your guard up, because I think had Georgia won that game, we wouldn't be talking about Michigan being national champions. I can tell you that much.
Yeah.
Because they would have annihilated Michigan, and they would have annihilated Washington. Mm-hmm. I don't know that Washington gets in, actually. Or Texas. It was either Washington or Texas. One of those two teams. It was like they got in because Georgia lost. But We would have annihilated Michigan. I can tell you that much.
Mm-hmm.
That much is,
that.
and so yeah. But it's going to be, nonetheless, it's going to be a difficult schedule this year. Thankfully, it's going to be a difficult schedule. We get through it. 12-team playoff, man. I'm excited about that too. But I was reading about the, I think one of the episodes I did was without you, and the I talked about the headsets and the technology and stuff like that. Are you excited about the helmet headsets and the
I think it's cool.
iPads?
I think it's one of those deals where we're trying to get, each level's trying to get closer to the next level. The use of technology on the sidelines now, the use of the microphone, the helmet now. It brings that NFL type, mold, because that's what the goal. Everybody's trying to get to that point anyway. And it cuts down on sign stealing. I don't believe in sign stealing. I think you still got to line up and play the game. I think Deion Sanders said it best. You can have all my signals, but I still got to go ahead and execute.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So, it's just one of those deals to where you take that aspect out of the game. Thanks, Michigan, and you just got to go there and play the game. Yeah. I think it's really cool. I hope it just doesn't become a distraction. You know what I mean? Like in high school right now here in Georgia, we're getting to the point to where they, when you're switching personnels, they hold the clock or they hold the ball. If you're switching in and out of personnels and things like that. So I think the game's evolving to try to mimic everything that the NFL is doing, everything that college is doing. So I think it's good for the game, in my opinion. I don't think it changes anything. If that makes more sense.
Yeah, I don't think it drastically changes anything. I think you're going to see it, and and I'm gonna ask you this question here in just a second. So get your answer ready. But I think if they had this technology in high school and you were able to call the plays, I think, to me, I would probably go more tempo and just call the play out, just bark the play out and let him communicate, give him the formation and just go more check with me and be like, okay, and then bark out the play and then just be like, okay, you're going to, hit the X here. The X is going to be open. And then just give him feedback in his helmet instead of calling these really long wordy plays and huddling up and things like that. I'm getting him to the line so I can, RPOs, I can call it for him. Basically, I can be like, okay, this is, look at your screen here, or look at your slant, things like that. So I'm probably going more tempo. What about you?
I'm more of a tempo guy myself. How many plays can I run out of this formation? Can we get in and out of personnel, things like that? And how fast can we run these plays? If you're playing with good tempo, most teams aren't. They can't pick that up anyway.
Right.
And it's part of the game. It's. And are you playing chess and are they playing checkers? It's just really one of those type deals, with the defense. So if you're executing, it really doesn't matter. That's really what it comes down to is execution. If you're going to complain, they used to have plays, this, that, and third, that just means you're not executing. You're not playing as fast as you think you're playing because they're able to line up and they're able to do things that can disrupt all the timing, all the things that you're trying to do.
Yeah, I think, one way, half dozen another. But I just thought it was interesting that, how does that how's that technology feed into the tempo? And I also, I don't know if we talked about this, but like the iPads are going to make the coaching a lot better, not a little bit, but a lot better, because I think the chess match is going to be even more there, because in college you don't have anything but like a whiteboard. You have to kind of like guess that you remember what you saw. Mm-hmm. Now it's, hey, here's the, you're sitting down with your quarterback, your offensive analyst that works with the quarterbacks is going to like Buster would have sat down and just gone over the iPad with Carson. And so it's going to be that kind of thing where, the coaches are going to be up there. They're going to be looking at it. They're going to be like, okay, well, they gave us this look. We're going to come back with this, this, and this. And it's just going to be a lot more of a chess match. And, defenses are going to respond and they're going to say, okay, well, they hit us with this, I think they're going to come back with that. And, oh, here's a weak spot in our defense. We need to fix this up because I think they're going to attack this next time they come out. And it's going to be awesome.
This is going to show are you a really good coach or not. We've had huddle. You know as well as I do. We've had huddle forever in high school. Are you able to adjust? Are you able to adjust on the fly? Or can you really coach? You know what I mean? And I think that's what this brings. Obviously with all the people, all the analysts and things around. You got more people to see things, but at the same time, all right, I have this information in front of me. What can I do with it? You know what I mean? Can I adjust? Are they double slanting? Are they twisting? Are they bringing Sam fire? Are they bringing two from the same side? Are they rolling coverage? Things like that. All right, it's third down. Hey, we got to go out here in the field and get ready for punts up. Punt returns up. We got to get to the field. You know what I mean? So just one of those things. Can you coach on the fly? And you got to be organized when you do it. So it's all right. Hey, as soon as they come off the field, get to the iPad or whatever they use. All right, coach, let's go over these plays real quick. These are the ones I tag. Show Carson this is what they're doing. This is what we see. All right, when we go back out here, this is what we're thinking. All right, it's third down. Oh, hot. You know what I mean? So hey, let's get ready to go back out here and play. It's going to make the game a lot faster too as well.
Yeah, I'm excited about it, man, and I think it's going to be a great addition to that, and you'll see just kind of how it works, and you're going to finally see on the college level the coaches that are, you're going to see that now on the college level. It's going to be funny. So yeah, I'm excited about that. I think that's going to be really, really good there too. Who are some newcomers that you're excited about? I think Anthony Evans is going to be really good, really explosive at the receiver spot. I think obviously Trevor Etienne, some of the freshmen. I think running back Nate Frazier is going to be great. Colby Young from Miami. The three transfer receivers, Michael Jackson, London Humphreys, and Colby Young are going to be really good. Monroe Freeling is somebody that I'm excited about along the offensive line. Ben Urasek, Scovey White. All those guys. And Scovey White got the charges dropped, by the way, on his massive arrest. Just so you know,
amazing how that works. The whole $25 bond. I'm looking for Bolden. I always, I'm an offensive guy through and through, but I always look for somebody, on defense. And I think Bolden. Watched him play at Buford. He's a phenomenal player. Watched him in the spring game. He gets it. He really does. I'm looking for him to be my Nyland Green. I was a big Nyland Green fan. That was my boy. So look for Bolden to have a big freshman year. As long as everything goes right for him, he's learning. He's going to get his time, and I think he's going to take it and run with it.
Yeah, I think so. I think you're right, man. I'm excited about that too. I'm excited about him. I think he's going to be a force at corner, and this is going to be a lot of fun to watch. Just kind of these, because Georgia, they didn't pull as many from the portal in years past, and then this year they finally got really active, and so it's going to be interesting to see how those guys.
We mostly got players on offense. You know what I mean? We had a lot of guys. We say a lot of guys that transferred on defense, but it was more so guys that hadn't really touched the field. But we had a lot of guys that stayed. A lot of guys that waited their time. So I'm looking forward to seeing those guys who stayed kind of show out. And I think right now that's one big thing that Kirby's waiting for is who's going to be that guy. Who's going to flip the switch and make plays. Be a playmaker. Because if you're a dog and you can play, you're going to be on the field on Saturday. Like no matter what year you are, no matter what age you are, anything like that. If you can play, you're going to play on Saturday. Yeah, and I think that's one thing that Kirby does and that staff does really well. They don't hold people just because they're a freshman or anything like that. If you can ball, you're going to be out on the field.
Oh yeah, totally. And that's what he's looking for, and that's what it's going to come down to, and that's why people come. That's why these guys sign here. That you're thinking, God, they're pretty loaded at that position. What do you like? Because they know that there's going to be scouts at practice. So even if they're not playing right away, they're still playing at practice. They're scouts. They're watching them.
Yes, and you look at guys who have come through our program who have stayed. since Kirby's got there. The development of players,
Mm-hmm.
especially if you're a defensive player, there's nobody else I want to play for. I want to go to Georgia. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Now with the evolution of our offense, and you look now with Brock and Ladd and those guys getting drafted, our running backs, getting drafted and playing at a high level in the NFL right now. The development of players right now at the University of Georgia is phenomenal. Who wouldn't want to be a part of that? I heard ETN on Tate Ratledge's podcast the other day. He said I could be like the backup running back at Florida on a losing team, or I can come to Georgia, possibly start on a winning team. It's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
That's what they want. Look at the production we've put in the NFL across the board.
Oh yeah. Who wouldn't want to sign up for that? I mean, it's something that, you got to look at all things considered, and people get lost in like, oh, well, they're not playing on Saturdays. And that's the thing. So people say that, people see that and they're like, oh, well, that's a terrible choice. But what they don't realize is that scouts come to practice. You have tape out there. Like if you're a freshman coming in, like even if it doesn't work out, even if you end up in the transfer portal, you have great film. You're going to have great opportunities. Even if it doesn't work out here, you're going to have great opportunities down the road, like Jackson Meeks going to Syracuse, right? He competed his ass off at practice. He had really good practice tape. Ended up going with Fran Brown to Syracuse, and he's going to I think he's going to tear up the ACC.
Mm-hmm.
And that type of thing, like there's like with transfer portal stuff, and then NFL scouts, they're going to find you if you're good enough. It doesn't matter what you do, where you are, how much you're playing. They're going to find you no matter what. That's their job. And so you're always, you go to a school like that, you're going to be performing for scouts. You're going to be, and then you're going to be developing. Kirby's going to rotate 25 guys on defense. Like he plays a lot of guys on defense, especially if you're a lineman or a linebacker. You're going to play a lot, or if you're a corner, even you're going to play a lot, and you're going to get the reps. So all you have to do is get in the 2 deep, and you're good. Or maybe even at some positions the 3 deep.
Mm-hmm.
And there's certain packages if you're a defensive back that you can get in on, and there's certain things that happen. So that's why guys are coming, because they know, hey, Channing Tindall was a reserve linebacker, got drafted in the 4th round by the Dolphins.
Like that. He's balling.
A 4th round pick. And he never started. Maybe like 1 game because of injury, but he never started. And he, Devontae Wyatt, 1st rounder. Wasn't a starter.
He was a backup.
He was the 3rd guy in, because it was Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis.
Mm-hmm.
Devontae Wyatt. He was the 3rd guy in. Versatile lineman, can 3-4 technique. You get to an odd front team, he can play the 4. You get to like a 4 front team, he's a really good 3 technique. So that's something that you like to see. But yeah, I think it's interesting that like London Humphreys is coming. He knows that he's he walks into a really crowded wide receiver room. He came in and did what, Israel? He competed.
Compete.
He's smart. He's intelligent. He competes. He plays hard. He's really, he's talented. He's going to get some playing time now. And he was kind of one of those that you're like, I don't see how he's going to work himself in, but he is. So it's good. Scovey White, I think, is earning himself some time. Colby Young is going to be, the outside guy that's just a headache for everybody.
Yeah, we're gonna be good. We're gonna be good, and I love the fact that Kirby has his foot on their neck every day, because the standard is the standard, and it's not gonna change.
Yeah.
Especially at the University of Georgia. Either you buy in or you get out. And I think the team has adopted that, and obviously Kirby is not going to let up. So either you're in or you're out. And I think this season, after fall camp, especially after we play Clemson, we're gonna know what kind of team we're gonna have.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And I think I have a feeling, this is my gut feeling, that the Clemson game is going to end up a lot like the Oregon game from 2 years ago, where it was all this put Georgia on upset alert. Oregon's going to come in and show them just what they have to offer, and all that stuff. And then all of a sudden, it's 49-10, and you're trying to figure out what the hell just happened.
Yeah, you just got hit in the teeth, buddy.
Mm-hmm. Hard. And so that type of thing, and so I don't know. I think it's going to go. But anyway, Israel, we're gonna jump off here. We're gonna get out of here because I know you've got some scripting to do. I know you've got to scheme up a little bit to beat Brooks County, and I don't want you to test that theory about being up all night. I'm gonna leave us with this. It's a good thing you're not the Hoover coach right now.
Oh, good.
That and being high school coaches, I really wanted to get your opinion on this because I think and this happened. This broke actually this time last week because I was like, holy crap! I can't wait to talk to Israel about this in like 5 minutes when he jumps on here. But your computer decided it was not in favor of you doing the show.
Yeah,
but
Apple updates, man, get you every time.
Apple's like, Israel, you ain't doing the show tonight, bud. You're just not. It's not gonna happen. But you're here. So what? Like, it's virtue signaling, right? It's virtue signaling. Like you're having to, like, what is it with? And I hate this. I know you probably do too because it's like the fake tough guy routine.
Mm-hmm.
What is it about high school football coaches that think they have to act in this type of manner where they're degrading and being physical with players to prove that they are the alpha in the group, and they're trying to instill toughness, I think is the defense you would get in those situations. Like what is that about? Like I don't think it's necessary to have to get your players like that.
It's one of those things to where, you can really tell what kind of coach somebody is. I'm not that kind of coach. I'll grab a face mask here or there, things like that. But it's more so to get their attention, not to embarrass them or anything like that. I had to rewind it because I was like, did I just see what I think I just saw? And there could be different context to it, and I'm not here to comment on that. I'm just commenting on the responsibility of a coach. You know what I mean? Whether you're mad, upset, or anything like that, there's no rhyme or reason for that to even happen at all.
Yeah.
No matter how mad you get at a kid, no matter what happens, the video was inappropriate. The way they handled that was inappropriate. And I'll stand on that any day of the week because I would never do that to my players. You know what I mean? And to see that, happen in our profession, I've never seen that. You can go way back to when coaches, were throwing stuff and things like that. You've never seen them physically, just harm a child. You know what I mean? That's what it comes down to me because I can tell you this: if that happened to Tatum Troop, all three of us would have been on administrative leave because you're not going to do that to my child. You know what I mean? And it just goes back to I treat my players like they're my own. You know what I mean? And I would never treat my son like that. Whether I'm mad at him, whether he had a bad rep or anything like that. And it just goes back to the same thing I said earlier. You find out what kind of coach they are. You know what I mean? And, maybe they didn't mean it. Maybe just heat the battle, which things happen every once in a while, but you got to know better. You got to know that just can't happen by any means. And
I think if that's your go-to, I think that, heat of the battle it kind of goes like it kind of goes into instinct reactions, heat of the battle. Like some people, they get really calm and collected in the heat of battle.
That's me.
Where like your mind almost goes clear.
Mm-hmm.
You clear your mind, you clear your head, and you're almost able to think very, very sharply to be able to, because you have to get them out of that situation.
Yes.
You have to that's you stepping up as a leader and saying, okay, well, if shit's hitting the fan, I can lead these guys out of here.
Mm-hmm.
Or like if your first instinct in the heat of battle, even in Oklahoma, when you're just like trying to drum up excitement, like I don't think I would ever run full speed, run over a kid and rip his helmet off at the same time. Like I don't think I could ever see a moment in any heat of the battle, in the most intense moment, where I can see myself doing that. Like I don't think context matters with that one clip, especially because there's no context that you can say that that's okay. But to me, yeah, be excited about a kid, right? And like if you go to like pat him on the shoulder pad, I've done the two-hand like pat him on the shoulder pad, like great, good job, and like knocked him back a little bit accidentally because I'm just stronger than I think I am, but that kind of stuff. Or like if he was like just running and like he wasn't trying to knock him over and he knocked him over, like that's one thing. And you can tell if somebody does that because if they knock you over on accident, they're gonna like reach down and be like, "Oh shit, sorry,"
and try to help you up. And that me and my head coach were talking about that. I was like, that was deliberate because not only did he knock him over, but he threw a helmet at him at the same time. And I think at that point is when you realize that here's my theory is that you were really lame in school and then you became a football coach and now you get to yell at kids. That's my thinking. I think that's the action that you showed. Now, I could be wrong. It could have been an accident. It could be taken out of context, but that's what we saw on video. So that's the only thing that we can go by. So
I just have a hard time believing there's any context.
At that point, I've never gotten that mad at a kid to where, that's ever happened. You know what I mean? And like you say, you get excited and, you push a kid and they're like, oh, dang, my bad. And, even when you're getting on to a kid, you grab him by the jersey, grab him by the shoulder pad, and you might grab him and knock him down or something. You try to help him up. You're like, oh, my bad. Sorry about that. But hey, this, you're still coaching that kid up. You're not pushing him down, ripping his head up, throwing it at him, and then proceed to walk away. Like that was deliberate.
Mm-hmm.
Like you meant to do that. That was not an accident. And then here's the part that really pissed me off is that not one coach stood up for that kid. Like not one coach was like, hey, that ain't right.
Right.
Because if I see any of my coaches doing that, that's a problem.
Yeah, I mean, you have to address that. Or
if you're the head coach, defense coordinator, no matter what your title is, that is unacceptable across the board. You don't see college coaches doing it. Now, they might rip somebody's behind. You know what I mean? Coach Fab has some great one-liners, when we were in school, but nobody ever got physical.
No, and one-liners are meant to just be attention grabbers. I've had my share of zingers too, right?
Yes. If you watch Coach 30, that is basically what a meeting room sounds like.
Yeah, I mean, it's watching film is just a role. It's just you working on your material, like that kind of thing happens, and you always and you always circle back around to making sure that before that kid leaves, that he knows what your intentions are, and your intentions are the best, and you love him, but you're giving him tough love, and you have to kind of but like.
Yeah, you can't bounce back from that. You can't. It's one of those deals to where, I hate that it happened because we know that how hard this profession is. It's hard every day, teaching and coaching at the same time. Dealing with all the personalities, not just in our building and on our team, but outside the walls of our locker room. So it's hard enough already.
Yeah.
You see that to where that brotherhood and that bond is broken. You had some kids try to stick up for them, the coaches and things like that. But it's one of those things just unacceptable. Those things like that. If you ever, anybody who's listening to this and you ever want to get into coaching, things like that cannot happen. They can't.
You're the adult. You've got to control your emotions, right? And I've rarely lost my cool. Most of the time it's, I'm frustrated, but I'm still in control of what I'm doing. You know what I mean? Like you can be mad and be in control, or you can be totally off the reservation, which that's the case. And then the I don't know, the one where it looks like he's humping the kid, like that. Jesus Christ. I can't even, I don't even know where to start with that one.
Yeah, not good, buddy.
Yeah, that's that. Yeah, you're looking at some possible charges on that one.
On that one, I was like, all right, maybe he was trying to like jump over his head, like in excitement and things like that. So I like went back here at one. I was like, he's humping this kid.
He's humping the kid. Like I tried to go through every situation. Like, okay, maybe he's trying to maybe he was like trying to help the kid up and he lost balance and he was wobbling. Yeah. I was like, maybe it's like I don't know. That looks a lot like humping. That looks
just
like
it just can't happen. And they're phenomenal coaches. I don't know them personally, but I've heard great things about those coaches, and I hope that they can bounce back from this and then use that as a learning experience. But it's just one of those things to where if you're aspiring to be a coach or you are a coach, you learn from situations like that to where things like that just can't happen. They just can't. And like I said, it's hard enough being a coach already. And you just add that extra stuff to it, and it's just not good. Not good for the program.
Exactly. And so it's tough to watch. But hopefully, like you said, hopefully they can learn from it and not have to, it's just gonna be a tough thing. They're just gonna have to overcome that, I guess. Mm-hmm. They're gonna have to deal with that in interviews. Like everyone's gonna ask him, hey, weren't you the guy that how do we know you're not gonna pull the same stuff? But again, it could be also, these guys at some of these massive programs think they're invincible, think they're untouchable. And, hey, we're at Hoover. Like, we can do this type of stuff.
Hey, bro, Hoover got good money. Them drones work really, really well. Yeah. You're not gonna miss a clip with them drones, buddy.
No, and they got people operating those drones. They got staffs.
And they got people like Corey, who's really, really smart with computers and technology operating them drones. Not people like me, because I don't even know how to get one off the
ground. Dude, you'd love flying a drone, man. That thing's fun.
Yeah, I leave that up to the other people. I can't do that. I know that here's my lane, and I stay in it. Dude, here's my lane. I'm right in between it.
You're just right between the mustard and mayonnaise. Love it. Love it. So, all right, man. Well, how's school going? I haven't talked to you about school yet. How's the new?
It's going good. We're we had the tropical storm come through, so this will be our first full week of school. It's going good. We're building a brand new school, so we got everybody and their mom in our building right now because they're building a new school. So it's going good.
Nice. You'll enjoy that. Hopefully you're around long enough to enjoy the new school. If not, you'll be ahead.
There's nothing like that new school smell, man. Nothing like it.
I know. I experienced it last year. So anyway, that's going to do it for us here on the Believe in Georgia Dawgs podcast and the Believe Network. We hope you have a great rest of your week / weekend. Enjoy some NFL preseason. Israel kick some ass tomorrow. Start off 1-0, and we'll get this thing underway. Next week, we'll talk more. We'll get more in depth and more specific towards Clemson, and then we'll make our first round of picks.
There we go.
We got picks next week, Israel. Isn't that exciting? You're going to make me funny. I'm going to, my vow is to listen to you. I'm going to listen to
you. Sometimes, not so much.
Well, the times that I don't listen to you are the times you win. And the times, like there was one time I was like, okay, I'm finally going to go with Israel. And it happened to just be your worst week.
Yeah. I have those from time to time.
And then I'm like, okay, all right. And then I just didn't bet for a while. And then I'm like, damn, if I'd have played Israel's picks this week, we'd have hit.
I'm going to hit it big this year. I'm going to hit it big at some point.
Israel's going to pull up to school in a Maserati. And you'll be like, what happened? BetOnline.ag.
Hey, you might not know that I won big, but there will be signs.
Yeah, it'll be. You'll have a big old. You'll come in looking like Prime. You'll have the shades, the big chain, and you'll have pull up in a Maserati, and you'll be like, yeah, I won.
BetOnline.ag. Absolutely, I did that. Cash me out.
Yeah, cash me out. I won my parlay, and I hit the slot machines later.
There it is.
There you go. So we'll take care. Have a good weekend. We'll see you all back here next week. Better than ever. We are the Believe in Georgia Dogs podcast on the Believe Network, presented by betonline.ag. Find us at Believe in Dogs on all social media platforms. We'll see you later. Good luck tomorrow night. Peace out. Go Dogs.
Go Dogs.